Clear prop! Now that I have graduated flight school, come with me as I continue training and fly to new places in the pursuit of fun and adventure. Just do a quick intro. Good evening, YouTube. Good afternoon. Wolf Pilot checking in with Uncle Steve, working on November 8344 Tango, which has been in dry dock. How long has it been since this thing was?
It's been about 5 years.
5 years. We are going to resolve that problem. This plane will be in the skies again. I want to maintain a positive attitude.
Before we die of COVID.
Before we die of COVID. Well, I'm a glass is half full kind of guy. And so one of the first things that had to be done is the old mufflers, the baffles were completely just blown. They were gone. I mean, you got here in the light here a little bit. Look in there, there are no more baffles. You can almost see taillight straight through. So these were nothing more than empty hollow cans, which might be good on a Honda, but not so good as much on a Cessna. Oh, and see, where is, let's see, is it on this one? Well, that one's kind of definitely, you can see right there on the weld. Crack, oh, yeah, here it was. So, this is the stuff, when you do your annual, this is the stuff that needs to be looked at very, very closely. This can kill you. This can kill you right here.
That's why you take the shroud off, so you can look at it, and it's a pain to take the shroud off. It's very hard to do, but you have to do that. You have to look in there, because that leak and that crack will put carbon monoxide out, and the shroud is what collects the warm air off the muffler and keeps you warm in the wintertime.
Yes, it does.
And you do not want to pump in CO2.
No.
It'll make you fly one more time, and that's the evil.
So, for my viewers, I'm going to put a link down in the description below. There's a video over on Dan Milliken's channel, in the Taking Off channel, where in the Hangar show, they interviewed a guy named, I believe it was Dan Bass, who almost lost his life due to this very problem. Had a crack in his muffler and was pumping CO into the cockpit, and he was on a cross country and almost on the final leg home, and he was overcome by the CO and literally fell asleep, and his airplane was on autopilot, and it flew until it ran out of gas, and autopilot stayed active until the plane came down, and the engine stopped. It just lost altitude. The plane maintained proper pitch, and it set down really, really gentle. The plane was mostly intact, save for the windshields, and he was busted up a little bit, cuts and abrasions and whatever. And when he woke up, well, I won't destroy the story. You go click on the link below and to that video, and basically the one takeaway that I'll reemphasize on my channel is the CO tabs do not work. Do not trust those things. They are garbage. You want to get an actual CO detector and get one that other pilots are using that is rated. It's a kind of a portable device. Now, in the plane I was training in, the C-172 SP, it's integrated with the G-1000. It's one of the questions I asked Jeff Wallach, my CFI. So, folks, it ain't no joke. You know, CO is not anything to play with, and you need to also know the signs of CO2 poisoning, which is when you start having your headache and your muscle fatigue, and that means get some fresh air. If you're flying with the heat on, turn that off, and land as soon as you can. Open the windows. Yeah, hope you're dressed warmly. So anyhow, we discovered a small problem here. Do you know there's zip tie?
Yeah, okay.
Oh, no, that's why I'm here. Let me go over here. Zip tie, another little small, coming up. So you have to be getting up.
Yeah, there you go.
So one of the problems, one of the things, the reason why this aircraft was grounded is because one of the cylinders failed leak down. So once you get the cylinder, now is it a brand new jug or did it just rebuilt?
No, new.
Brand new jug?
New cylinders all around.
Okay, new cylinders all the way around. And in the process of doing that, actually on both sides, let me see what you just told me. You want to match up your cylinders for compression.
No, actually the cylinders were rebuilt. The whole engine was rebuilt. So new pistons went in, new rings went in, new rods went in. And that rod, piston pin assembly has to be balanced so that its weight is within a few grams of the piston that's on the opposite side. This is a pancake engine. For you car people, it's a Boxster engine.
Right.
Or you Subaru people, it's a
Boxster engine, exactly.
And so you want those opposing weights to be the same. So consequently, and that the cylinder is not the moving mass. So you want the moving mass to be the same.
Yes.
So that's what we did. We matched up the moving mass, but we also moved the cylinders around because some were rebuilt and some were new, and so consequently all the cylinders got moved around.
So the other question is this actually the front of the engine? Because
no, number one cylinder's back.
Right there's. What I'm saying is so. These two pipes the whole cylinders got swapped. The pipe stayed with the cylinder, and so the way to resolve the problem, we're going to take this off and put it over on the other side of the engine and swap them vice versa.
And then they'll line up.
And then they'll line up, and we can clamp our mufflers on and have a measurement of success. Ooh, feel that snap.
That's good. That's what you want. You don't want to find a loose nut.
No. Loose nuts are bad.
Find the missing nut. And there's a lot of tricks to the trade that was done over the years, and experience is really kind of important. So let's back to this guy.
All right, got your nuts.
Okay, I got them. There's no washers on this one. And you notice that with exhaust, they're bronze, so they don't freeze.
I think isn't the correct word gall?
Yeah.
Like, or is that something that more of a gall you use with stainless steel hardware when it essentially freezes, the threads lock together and you're screwed and you're.
And because that exhaust can be coming out of that engine at 1400 degrees.
So now this. Well, so before we put those back on,
I'm gonna line it up. Yeah, I want to line them. Let me have the muffler. Oh, I have them.
Got a muffler right there. So these should actually be 180 degrees different. So on that one, the hole should be on the other side.
Yeah, the hole is the exhaust gas sensor. For your car buffs, that's a header.
Header, okay.
That's your header.
You know, normally you think of headers on a car like your Mustang or whatever, it comes off your exhaust manifold, they come down to a collector, and usually a flange or something where you go out to your exhaust system, your muffler, whatever. And diesel guys might call this something, so many different ways you can call stuff. A downpipe, because a downpipe on a diesel is what comes off the back of a turbo and it goes down to the exhaust system. They call it downpipe because normally it goes down, whatever. So my question is,
we're going to do more than that.
So we got to take off
this one
and move that one up to here. Right.
Yeah. So we got major surgery.
No, major surgery would be pulling the jug off the side of the engine. This is minor by comparison. You might have to remove your cable guide.
You're going to have to get a longer screwdriver.
Longer screwdriver. Probably something like that.
Maybe a longer
one. Well, as far as... Well, here, Steve, this is really...
Oh, yeah, that's a bigger one.
With a bigger... That's got the head on that one's too thin for that.
It ain't going to be tight because that's just a clamp. I'm just trying to do it without taking
without taking your wire. I was thinking you just drop your clamp off for a second to make open up your road.
You can.
If you can sneak in there and get that.
Well, you might be right.
You're gonna open up your road.
Let's just give up.
I would not call that defeat. I'd just say making your life easier, especially when it's so simple.
And your rocker arms are inside here.
Right.
So it's
rocker arms, valve springs.
The cam is in the block, or in this case.
Yep. And your push rods go through these tubes right here.
Yeah. There's an exhaust and an intake rod.
Yeah, I had an indoctrination very young because I've been mechanical my whole life. That probably explains why I'm still single and no woman will put up with my bullshit.
You didn't learn that from your dad?
No.
He's not mechanical?
Barely. I mean, yeah, he had the hot rod and he did a lot of stuff, and I mean, I think for him it was more he saw an article in Hot Rod magazine or something. I'll use an example. When he was doing his own valve job, or not valve job, but porting and polishing the heads on that Oldsmobile 455 engine that was in the El Camino. Yeah, he sat down in his dock down at the shop for weeks with Dremel tools and air rotary dies and all, grinding and grinding and grinding.
Really did it. Yeah,
and he did it. I mean, and for him it was a fun thing to do. He had that I think he had that
Didn't Rufus
feeling of no. Rufus, that guy, he used to refer to Rufus as the fount of all knowledge, but Rufus was really
he's the antipathy of all knowledge.
He would do some really stupid shit and then be utterly amazed when it would blow up in his face. And in fact, one of Rufus's most favorite, or my quotes for Rufus, and Jack will agree, golly. Plug in something he wired up and whoof, a big cloud of smoke. Because he tied the wires together wrong or something and blew it up.
Is he still alive?
I don't know. I think Rufus Myers has been passed away for a while.
Oh, okay.
I'd have to ask Jack, but there's so many Rufus stories. You know, he had him around. You know, Rufus.
30 years or so.
Yeah, Rufus came with the company. He came with Custom Textile. Jack bought a company, and it came with a hired man. And you know, I liked Rufus a lot, and his wife was really nice. Now he had a son named Myron who was just a complete idiot, and just I don't know where you know, Rufus would shake his head wondering where he went wrong with Myron. But so is that vertical more straight pipe? Is that going to move here to 1, 2, 3, 5?
I guess.
Well, I guess
We're going to move them until they work.
To move until it works.
We're gonna move them until they work.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a very educational experience.
Move them until they work.
That's why you notice a lot of pilots, and I'm going to give a shout out to my friend Glenn Hancock when he's working on the Electra.
Electra, isn't that what killed Amelia?
Yes, it is. And there's also, if you go back a few videos in my channel, you'll see me flying the Electra. And
I had two 1750s or 650 horsepower radials.
The only thing that airplane will not pass is a gas pump. And Glenn put a crap ton of gas in that airplane during the 3 days of the Aviation Content Creator Awards.
Remember, it's 0.43 pounds per hour per horsepower. So if you got 650 horsepower, then you're burning about 45 gallons an hour per side. That's 90 gallons an hour, say. And what does gas cost for airplanes? It isn't car gas.
Well, see, you gotta understand that that airplane gas was cheap back then. It was really cheap. And people didn't think about it, you know. It's back when I was a kid and used to mow lawns and stuff. I'd take my little 1-gallon steel gas can on the mountain bike and ride down to Centennial at Lawther and Northwest Highway, and gas was 69 cents, 65 cents a gallon. I am dating myself by saying that, but whatever. Fun stuff.
This one's actually back here where it's kind of easy to get to. These have gaskets. There's gaskets up in there. You can't really see them, but they are. And they're metal ringed. They're copper ringed gaskets.
Okay, I can see that quite clearly. It looks like it's kind of pressed into the...
Yeah. Because this is the exhaust casket, and the exhausts are really corrosive. And so what happens, this engine gets hot, and it glows red and does all that stuff at 1,400 degrees worth of exhaust, and then it comes and lands, and then it cools off and sucks all that moisture from the air, and it gets all over it, and then that moisture rusts, and then you go do that cycle again and again and again and again. Well, that ends up not just freezing the pipes to the gasket,
all right.
but it
Go up there.
But it really causes a lot of
You can see the pitting and stuff in there too.
And when you want to inspect these, you want to inspect this around here to make sure that she hasn't blown by. So you see how it's kind of dark right there?
Yep.
Well, if you get some darkening back in here, or a lot of it like
blow by,
then you know that you're getting a little bit of blow by.
So do you also, while you're doing inspection, take a straight edge and run it across there to make sure that you're still level on your flange, that you haven't had any flange warpage?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you do that, and of course the way to solve that, you get you a flat piece of granite and a little piece of 600 sandpaper and get it flat again. You can do that. Let's see here. I think we can switch this one.
So I think the lesson here...
Well, the lesson here is you got to keep the hole out.
Well, if you knew you were about to replace all the cylinders, probably as you took the exhaust out, everything should have been matched. In other words, on the label the pipes.
You put cylinders on, and then you put, after you get it all together, then you put the exhaust stacks on afterwards.
Exactly.
In this case, I put them on before, but
and got kind of confused.
I left them on, actually. What I did.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
I had a window, and it wasn't called a Skylark anymore. It's called a P172. But this was a 62 without the window, but it has the slanted tail. The 61 doesn't have the slanted tail.
So you just need to put your probe in there. Actually, probe on both of them.
Yeah, I know.
Next week, I should be starting my tail wheel training over at Aero Country.
Yeah, you said you're going to use a tailor craft or something like that?
I keep wanting to say Citabria or something.
No, it's Citabria. You know what Citabria is, don't you? It's acrobats fail back.
Oh, well, that's because they also teach acrobatics, and they also teach spin and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, it's spin training. And you ought to take spin training.
I'm absolutely going to take spin training.
That is world fun. And,
well,
you can justify it by saying it's safety, but let's face it, it's world fun.
Well, it's again my weapons instructor out in Greenville. The one thing he beat into my head is that in a time of stress, you revert to the lowest level of training you have, which if you have no training, you have nothing. And so if I'm going up and I do something and I get lopsided, next thing I know, my nose is dropped and the earth is spinning. I want to make sure that I instinctively know the, pair.
Which rudder to step on?
Yeah, you stomp opposite the spin, I think.
Yep. Not more than 1.5 turns. I've never done 3.
You ever done a falling leaf?
Yeah. But I just never. I do it by myself.
Well,
I just never wanted to really. When you do real spin training, they let you do The world is spinning.
Hang on a sec.
But I'd be have nausea for days after that.
November 61975. Oh, look at that. Okay, so it looks like
182.
so they take off from here, they make right-hand traffic, and they head. Because if you keep going,
You basically turn right. You're headed at Addison. Where you headed? Towards us. You're headed south.
wait a minute. Addison is
That way, 1.5 miles.
okay.
So it's really close.
Well, I know. I mean, I'm flying Addison. I've heard guys taking off from here before, telling the tower, "Hey, I'm departing to the north." And so I figure you take off, you fly runway heading, and you stay at or below 2,000 until you get out of the.
Walk down there when he takes. He's going to go there. What place is he going to go?
He's probably going to go back taxi and then go north.
I just say walk down there and watch it.
Oh, he's in the grass. Huh.
Getting in the hole is going to be a little tough on this one.
Hang on. Gotta remember, Steve, where there's J, there's a way. And it doesn't mean bull in a china shop. But, oh, that's kind of off there a bit.
Well, it was way off on the other side. That's why I couldn't.
All right, hang
put
on.
it over here. Let me get this one started.
All right.
Okay.
There you go. There we go.
No,
We're in
I
on
lost the others.
Dang it. All right. Okay, there. All right. Take your hand down a little bit. Let me get some.
Now I can loosen the nuts on that other one.
Gosh, that one's. I mean, it's right. Okay,
I
give me a
know.
wiggle. Give me a wiggle and a push. Ah, dang it.
You get it. I can loosen the nuts.
Maybe that's the secret.
Well,
Well, but see, if you loosen that nut.
you're putting stress on this pipe, but you're putting stress on that joint. But I don't have much of an option. My only other option is put a big bar in that and clamp it somehow and try to
tweak it.
Yeah, but you're going to tweak its radius is what you're going to end up doing. What if I just loosen this little guy a little bit? I don't know.
Now the question is, once we put the muffler on, will you be able to still get in there and get to it to tighten it back up?
That's exactly right.
And of course, once this thing gets hot,
I know
though,
I can get to that one.
I mean, that just bought you a ton of flexibility right there. I mean, a ton. I think that's your money maker now.
Yeah. I'm not sure that's certified procedure. It's just a procedure.
Oh,
You
it's
may have
on-
to do more than one, but
Well, what the hell?
I may have to do this middle one too.
What the hell's... Okay, that's on there.
Here, come over here and push back here.
Okay, that one's on.
See, they're not.
There we go.
We need a BFRM. You know what that is, don't you?
Big fucking something or another.
Yeah, big
Okay.
flipping rubber mallet.
So that's when this one's pretty much seated over here. We're flush. This is all the way in here.
Mm-hmm.
That one's kind of, sort of, and that one's kind of, sort of.
I think we can put a clamp on now.
I know this back one for sure.
I'm gonna grab some clamps and see what I can do.
Okay.
Do you think we can reach that screw? Find that nut?
Oh shit, this is easy. Yeah, this one here, this front, the bended one. Yeah, that's easy. No, walk in the park. Perfect. We got this. Perfect. perfect, 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 perfect. Well, I can tell just by looking at it, it's not
12 years old.
Yeah, it died back in.
See if it's changed any. Oh well, you don't. That's one you haven't used. That's
World Aeronautical.
There's probably another one. That's a.
Yeah, this is not your sectional for.
Here, let me sit down.
Sorry.
Yeah. That's a. There's a lot of those in the airplane. How was an intelligence?
CF-18. Well, this is no good. What's it? CF-18 CG CF-18. Yeah, it's up in the Great Lakes, Washington, Michigan. Definitely a dated piece of documentation, that's for sure.
So how did we decide we wanted to do this? Were we doing the curve to the back or the curve to the front? Were we doing it like this or like this?
Well, on the other side, the curve.
Well, let's just do that.
Well, the front two are kind of matched.
No,
the back one not so much.
This one right here is in the back on those, isn't it?
So the curved part is actually towards the front.
Oh, okay.
On this one over here.
It's like this.
Yes, like that. However, well, that one's bursted out like that, so you need to do a 180 flip there.
Oh, really?
Yeah. There you go.
Oh, this is really loose.
What?
I'll show you. Look at that.
Oh, I know. Because it's
Oh,
such
I
a
haven't
tight.
tightened him
Yeah,
yet.
you haven't tightened this guy back up. He's loose as a goose.
I'm gonna just start this one.
Okay.
Well, if we're going to shoot it, we need to. If we're going to shoot it, we need to do it like this. Otherwise, we're not going to be able to get our gun. This is a balancing tube. It's an intake. You don't remember from your studies? That's a carburetor.
Yep.
And it's an updraft carburetor.
Yep.
Okay, and the reason it updraft, the theory back then is the oil's hot in there, right?
Right.
So you suck the air and the fuel mixture through the hot
Oil
pan,
bath.
and then you pull it up here and then you shove it into the engine. And Continentals, you follow this all the way around. It goes all the way around the engine. This balancing tube,
Yep.
go all the way around. It doesn't just come up here to the front. There's a cross one in the back.
Oh, I see it. I see it back there.
Oh, and it's a bitch to get up. Oh. You get the gun, I'll get
I got the gun. Let me loose the swivel. Ready?
Yeah. Let me try the other one. You got it so much time. It's so much easier. I greased these a little bit. I put some LPS2 on them.
Okay.
LPS is what is the airplane version of penetrating oils like LPS1. LPS2 is a mild lubricant. LPS3 is a real thick foam shoot-on lubricant. But they are really good for anti-rust.
Later that same evening.
I would cut back here for a little more footage as we've got.
Quarter inch? That's a big hole.
Well, I mean, isn't that about a quarter?
No,
Or is that what is that closer to?
closer. A little bitty. Nope, that's too low.
5/16?
Let's keep going up.
Oh, going bigger. 3/8.
Now that's
A little bit bigger. That might be. Let me see that one. That's your bitch right there.
Good?
That's it. That's what you need.
oh.
That could be a small problem.
I brought an impact wrench. I didn't bring a drill.
That could be a small itty bitty problem.
Unless I got an electric drill.
So just to kind of summarize, we've got the mufflers installed. The muffler clamps are clamped. Thermocouples are all installed in the headers. That's all good. We're in the process of safety wiring the main oil sump drain plug. Got some junk or rags stuffed up the exhaust pipe to keep scorpions, wasps, mud daubers, and stuff from building nests in the exhaust. And we are moving right along here. And getting 44 Tango buttoned up and put back together in preparation for her the emergence from her 5-year hibernation. We're getting there. We are getting there.
Many hours later.
That sounds like a good idea. All right, so we're going to do a quick wrap up here, a little bit of footage. We've successfully got the mufflers installed.
We do a tour of the engine. That's good.
Everything's tight. All the holes are sealed for bugs and stuff. And the only thing, major item, the drain plug does need to be safety wired. However, we could probably leave it out because he's going to do a run. After run up, we'll change the oil. Just because it's been sitting for 5 years and you want to get all the gunk and moisture out and start with fresh oil.
So let's give them a little run. This is your voltage regulator, and it pumps out 14.7 volts to the battery, which is 12-volt battery. Battery's in the back, not on the firewall. This is the air oil separator. This is the vacuum instrument regulator, and this is a wet Garwin pump. They have dry pumps, which is on the newer airplanes, but this is a wet pump. So it'll still pump when it's totally worn out. A dry pump, when the vanes get worn, they'll shatter because they're made out of carbon. And they'll shatter and it'll fail. You won't get any vacuum. These are your magnetos. Here's a left one. On the other side's a right one. Check your oil, fill your oil. This is a remote.
It's your jump starting
thing where you plug into it and you can
now with the cowling on, is that even easy to get to? Because in later years,
yes, this has a cowling cutout that's big enough for you to get in there and reach it and plug it. This is a remote oil filter. The engine originally built just circulated its oil through a fine screen and a heavy screen, but this is a supplemental type certificate for an oil filter which takes the oil out, puts it through the filter and takes it back into the engine. Of course, here's the carburetor. The carburetor's on the bottom, so it's called an updraft carburetor. And then here's the cylinders. So it's a 6-cylinder, like we said before, a Boxster type engine.
This is the Continental O-300. And it is unique because it is a gear reduction engine.
Which is why they call it the GO300. And there's cylinder number 1 right there. And you notice what's unique with an airplane engine. There's a spark plug, and then there's a spark plug on the bottom.
Yes, and if you are a pilot in training, you will have learned that the reason why there's 2 spark plugs is not only for safety and redundancy, but also for more efficient fuel burn.